Okay, yeah, I think we are live now.
Okay,
So, as actually welcome again. I think we did
hi
this live
Subin.
sometime back, and happy to have the discussion again today. Uh, Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about a very a topic which you can't avoid. I think ये हमारे हर एक की जिंदगी का पार्ट है. वो बोलते हैं ना कि अगर जन्म लिया है तो फिर जाना पड़ेगा, सबको जाना पड़ता है. बट वो जो एक्सपीरियंस है, जो फैमिली और लव्ड वंस से बिछड़ने का, वो हम सबको कभी ना कभी उस दौर से जाना पड़ता है, और हम उस दौर से गुजरने में हम सबको ही बहुत दिक्कत होती है. वट वी कैन डू अबाउट इट? लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड ग्रीफ टुडे. एंड विथ मी वी हैव साक्षी, psychotherapist, cognitive behavioral psychotherapist. She is having her practice in Punjab, and we will try to understand the perspective of Sakshi, and also we'll discuss what we can do, what is grief, and what helps are available. So, Sakshi, you want to introduce yourself quickly to our audience?
Sure, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Sakshi Sood and I'm a cognitive hypnotic psychotherapist at Be Sane by Therapist, and that's a private practice that I run in zone of Punjab, Zirakpur. I'm also a relationship counseling coach, and I'm intensively working on the grounds where emotional stress and anxiety get rightly addressed by people, because these are the most surfacing emotional issues that one could get. And at the same time, we also work with a deeper level of disorders and problems that are connected to it. So today, one of that topic is grief, something that is unavoidable and something that is in our country gets misunderstood, and at the same time there is a method, old age method, that every family is following up, right, to address the grief. Grief is simply, according to me, is a emotion that you feel when you feel a sense of loss. Now, when I speak about loss, majorly people, think they associate grief with the loss of life. But Suvin, the thing is that grief is not just a loss of life. You also feel the feeling and emotion of grief when you lose a very beautiful relationship in your life, when that relationship dies, when, your pink health is no more a pink health. Something that happens to you and you are not the same person physically. So that also makes you feel grief. And, when you lose your identity, your personality, that also makes you feel a sense of grief, a sense of loss. And with lot of people, when they run on their daily pace to chase basics of their life, sometimes they forget their dreams. Sometimes they get just too far from their original dreams, that those lost dreams also feels dead to them, and then the emotion of grief appears. But
Yeah.
today, what
Hmm.
actually I want to pitch in is something that I want to talk about on my end, is a loss of life. So in country like हमारी इंडियन फैमिलीज में हमने देखा है कि हमारा ग्रीफ छुपाया जाता है, हमारी ग्रीफ को जज भी किया जाता है ना? एक सिस्टम है जो फॉलो करने के लिए बोला जाता है, और माइंडलेसली सारे उसको फॉलो कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज दोज आर द रिचुअल्स, दोज आर द कल्चर, एंड उसके पीछे का सिग्निफिकेंस कोई जानना नहीं चाहता, बट वो सिर्फ इसलिए कर रहे हैं बिकॉज उससे उनका ग्रीफ शो हो रहा है.
Right.
मतलब व्हेन आई स्पीक अबाउट नॉर्मलाइजिंग ग्रीफ, तो अगर you lose somebody who is really very important in your life, you have to pretend, or maybe you have to show it in certain manner. And if you
And
go
that
off the
is
track,
true. I'm saying that
people
is
will
true.
judge you, isn't it?
And one point what you mentioned, that grief is not only about loss of life, and it is okay to show grief during loss of life, but many times it is not okay to show grief in any other losses. I just wanted to acknowledge that point what you mentioned.
एग्जैक्टली, भगवान के भरोसे छोड़ दिया जाता है, हौसला दे दिया जाता है, अ, आपको एक डर भी रहता है। इधर आप इस चीज को प्रोसेस करोगे कि आपने क्या खोया है, या आप इस चीज को प्रोसेस करोगे कि जो हो गया सो हो गया, और मतलब मुझे भूख लग रही है। आई टेल यू अ वेरी good example later on with this, but first I want to tell you about Kubler-Ross's stages of grief. He's a Western psychologist and has given a theory about the grief, that it is being divided into five stages. Though there is one state, a state of shock, that is quite negotiable these days. And some people say that shock is also a part of grief, where the sudden news or something hits you and you get into a shock. So let's begin with the stages. That stages that chronologically actually what has been told is comes with the denial, जहाँ पे आपको believe ही नहीं होता ये नहीं हो सकता. The shock comes and then the processing comes and then the denial comes. नहीं 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 ये नहीं हो सकता, नहीं नहीं नहीं, this cannot be true, right? Then comes the anger, गुस्सा, ये मेरे साथ ही क्यों हुआ, why why like this. Then comes a bargaining, कि उधर आप अपना और पर्पस ढूंढते हो लाइफ में, कि नहीं 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 नहीं, आई कैन नॉट completely whole and soul get clinged into that whole thing, that person, or maybe that particular material also. People also feel grief when they lose certain materialistic wealth also. And this is something that a lot of people do not recognize. So you feel, you bargain that no, I cannot align my entire life onto it, and what now I have to see what is the more important now in my life. And this is where the bargaining part comes. Bargaining comes along with little bit of depression and sadness, because that is the part where you feel helpless,
Yeah.
and you know that now nothing cannot nothing can be changed. And then you come out of that state and you accept the fact, right? So these stages can be interchangeable. Now I'm going to put that example, Suvin. Okay.
Yes.
uh in a family, in one of my known family, what happened, there was a sick person, he was hospitalized. And since he was hospitalized, there was a kind of acceptance to the fact by the family members that the chances are very low that he will survive. So somewhat their acceptance was coming handy,
Okay.
that yeah. And eventually that loss happened.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was already accepted, so there was no denial, right? But
Yeah.
when this happened, they started questioning themselves. That होता है ना, आपने कभी माइंड में सोचा होता है कि ये इंसान इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे लिए, ये नहीं रहेगा तो हमारा तो क्या होगा, एंड सडनली यू रियलाइज कि अब वो नहीं रहा, और हमारे साथ वो नहीं हो रहा जो हमने सोचा था, एंड यू स्टार्ट गेटिंग कंफ्यूज, यू स्टार्ट गेटिंग एंग्री ऑन योर सेल्फ, है ना, कि मतलब
Right.
why I'm behaving like this, why I am behaving like this. And that angers get you nowhere, and
Yeah.
suddenly that comes in the form of irritability, है ना, you're shouting, you're snapping, you're getting irritated with yourself, you're feeling guilty with yourself, है ना. And then also a kind of little bit denial also come, that I am not this person, why I'm doing this. Confusion comes along with the denial also, as I said that it's interchangeable. Eventually all of these confusions and emotional disturbance put you in a sad state. And then when you're sad, eventually you move out after bargaining, after aligning your purposes and getting out of it. So yeah, the stages which mostly everyone go through when they are into grief. But there are some people who sometimes just, keep on switching the stage, but they do not actually get out of it. They do not process it properly. So I think so this session would be helpful for them.
Right.
And now over to you. So
Yeah. No, I do totally agree. Actually, if I look into our rituals, just let's take this from this perspective. Uh, every religion has certain rituals after we lost some loved ones, right? And it has a set that someone has to put stay in a certain way for a few days, and then on a certain day they call everyone and they try to come back to the normal life, and that is how the rituals are also designed. But the challenge is, I'll speak out two things. One is, many times those fixed days may not be sufficient for someone to come out of that grief. They are just like in a flow that time. People are saying, okay, you have to do this today, you have to do this today, you have to go this, to do this puja or this ritual, and all those 5 to 11 days, whatever it is, it's gone. And now everyone goes back to their home, and the close family stays there. And many time, this is the time they start feeling that vacuum. This is the time they start feeling that, grief a lot, compared to the when those 5-10 days when people normally come, people normally, be with you, they try to, console you. तो वो सब उस टाइम होता है, लेकिन उसके बाद का जो एक अकेलापन होता है, मेरे ख्याल से आज के डेट में देर आर मोर न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज, तो किसी के लिए भी पॉसिबल नहीं है कि साथ में आके महीनों महीनों रहे एंड देन सपोर्ट, जो शायद पहले हुआ करता था। तो वो टाइम में जो अकेलापन लगता है, जिसके वजह से बहुत बार लोगों में बहुत सटल चीजें होते हैं, व्हाट दे इवन डोंट रिकॉग्नाइज। दे माइट बी, गेटिंग एंग्री विद नो रीजन, पेशेंस कम हो जाना, या लूजिंग ऑफ इंटरेस्ट काम में, या इवन दे डोंट वांट टू eat properly, go out properly, with anyone, meet anyone. Many time it happens. Even it happens after months. People sometimes struggle for months also with these things. Irritate ho jana bahut jaldi. So these are all the symptoms where people are still in that grief and maybe stuck in one of those stages what you just explained, right? And they're not able to come out of it. I mean, grief is something goes away with time. That is a fact. But there are stages when this time is very prolonged for some people, and that is, I think, where people suffer because of this. They go in depression, and this depression have some other impact on their life, maybe in career, maybe in family, maybe, in their, health also, because depression is not good for our health also. Those all things happen. One more interesting thing I will like to also, discuss. Many times when there are caregivers for someone who is in a chronic disease, say like years, and there's one or two caregivers who are doing a caregiving all for those months and years. No one talk much about the caregivers, the what caregivers goes through during that time, because they are still physically well. At times the caregivers also go into a very guilt trip, that what if, because what if someone goes away, is there anything I couldn't do, what if I could have done this, and then, and that guilt many time goes on for a long time. I'll tell you one of my personal experience. My father was admitted, and he was in ICU, and there's one day when doctor said nothing much can be done, and I have to sign a form that is called discharge against medical, and that sign was haunting me for years. That why I signed that form. So this happens, this guilt happens, and then have an impact on people. And they're very subtle signs, because normally people goes back to the work and people may think, but there's subtle signs which remains with them, through which, one if noticed carefully they can understand कि नहीं कुछ तो अभी भी इसके दिमाग में चल रहा है, they are not came back to normal. So that is something, very interesting. People don't speak about it after those 10, 11 days, but the person who lose it, they really goes through all those things. Their sleep get disturbed, they take out themselves from the crowd, they try to be, put themselves in isolation, not meeting people's, and guilt is a major part. Anger is something definitely there, but then if the guilt comes in, that what if I can do something, could have done, not done, that is also a very very big emotion, which I believe बहुत तकलीफ देता है लोगों को on this. So yeah, I think it is
These are
important to talk
quite
about.
the subtle signs that you, है ना? These are all the subtle signs that you just spoke about, the grief
Right.
that actually appears, है ना, to every person's life. You know, they will be more distracted. There will time come that they will be, confused, and because of that confusion, they are irritated, and
Yeah.
at the same time they are feeling these, there are certain physical symptoms also that goes unnoticed: excessive
Yeah.
fatigue, exhaustion, right? And you
Right.
don't know, you haven't worked out, you haven't stressed out, but still you are feeling a headache, because
Yeah.
subconsciously somewhere your thoughts are, rolling in your mind, making you feel exhausted, the feel of, the energy is always drained. And sometimes it's good, people say, cry it out, and you will feel lighter.
Right.
But crying it out more frequently and you're just not stopping after some time, so of course it's going to strain your nervous system, na?
Yeah. True. True.
So
Yeah,
that's
I
something.
think
So
separation
when
as well as overexpression both are very dangerous for our life and health. When separation is also very
yeah, it's
dangerous if
very
someone doesn't cry,
sensitive,
and there are people who don't
it's
cry.
a very sensitive place.
In that shock, there are
Yeah.
people who don't cry, don't not able to release that, and that keeps on creating a very different kind of issues in the future. I mean,
it's
even
it's
people
it's
can
a
come up with
very
panic attacks.
sensitive place.
Right. But what do you think? When should
So
one someone
what
start
I
seeking help?
feel like, okay, what I feel, so when this is a very sensitive journey for anyone, either it's a loss of life, either it's a loss of relationship, either it's a loss of financial or your health or anything. It's a loss that is a sensitive thing. We as a therapist un- can't even understand sometimes the amount, you know the threshold of that feeling that person is feeling. ये जिसके साथ, ये सच्चाई भी है, ये जिसके साथ होता है पता उसी को ही होता है कि उसने क्या खोया है, वो उसके लिए क्या जरूरी था, उसकी लाइफ का वो कितना इम्पोर्टेंट एक हिस्सा था जो अब उसके साथ नहीं है, वो अब सिर्फ उसकी मेमोरीज में है, अब वो
Right.
फिजिकली उसके साथ नहीं है। और अब जब वो फिजिकली उसके साथ नहीं है तो अब क्या, है ना?
Hmm.
सो दिस राउंड्स मी अप टू द क्वेश्चन दैट हमें क्यों हेल्प लेनी चाहिए ब्रीफिंग में, राइट? सो यस, उसमें सबसे पहला पॉइंट तो यही है दैट आप अपनी आइडेंटिटी भी तो कहीं ना कहीं उस इंसान के साथ, या उस ड्रीम के साथ, उस रिलेशनशिप के साथ खो देते हो।
Yeah.
वो आपकी जब आइडेंटिटी का पार्ट बन जाते हैं, और जब आपकी आइडेंटिटी ही रियलाइन हो जाती है, मतलब बिल्कुल उस आइडेंटिटी का एक हिस्सा खत्म हो जाता है, तो ये तो जरूरी है ना कि अब आप उसको दोबारा से मॉडिफाई करो।
Right.
इट्स ओके कई बार आप अपने पाथ चेंज कर लेते हो, कई बार आप अपना, लोग नोटिस करते हैं कई बार, है ना, कि बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉस और बिकॉज ऑफ दिस द बिहेवियर इज चेंज ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन। मेरे पास
Hmm.
कई लोग आते हैं, दे से दैट particular breakup के बाद, I don't know, I don't feel joy in those same things which I used to feel earlier. तो
True.
इस चीज को नॉर्मलाइज करना इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, यहीं से तो आप इवॉल्व होते हो।
Hmm.
आपके, इट्स ओके इफ योर गोल वाज टू बिकम समथिंग, a very socially active, a glamorous person at the age of 40, but suddenly at the age of 32 you realize that you don't feel that meaning because of so and so loss now in those goals, rather than you are productive, है ना, and you want to be productive enough for some different path। तो इस चीज को नॉर्मलाइज करना बहुत जरूरी है, अपनी आइडेंटिटी को रेगुलेट करना बहुत जरूरी है, अपने गोल्स को रीडिफाइन करना भी इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट। एंड वन शुड feel confidence in that.
Yeah.
So this is really very important. And at the same time, there could be so many complications now. As I said, that physical symptoms appears, like you feel
Huh.
exhaustion, drain of energy, and eventually this leads to depression and anxiety, and at the same time sleep issues, because thoughts
Right.
are always in your mind, always in your
Always.
mind. So this is really very important. This what I can say, and
Right.
it's something that you want to share.
Yeah, and also think, sometimes if it is not been, someone not been able to come out of this as a part of our ecosystem, whatever we have in society, it is important to get some professional help who can help you with certain processes which may help one to navigate through this. It is very important, also for a balanced family. How, because if we are in a grief, they can it can impact the entire family, not only that person. So having that help on time is also very important for family. uh, like I know someone who has lost some loved one, but then after that they started getting in isolation. So the very young kid, that kid is getting ignored, and that effect may have on that kid also, right? So it is very important that if within a acceptable time frame, I'm not able to come out of something and do functional. And coming out doesn't mean that we are forgetting someone. And there is a biggest
Yes.
misconception people goes through, I believe, during the grief period, that if I come out, if I do normal things, does it mean that I'm forgetting that person? I am not being loyal. I'm not, I'm enjoying while someone is not there. The fact is, it is not like that. It is accepting the fact, acknowledging, keeping the love within our heart, and move on for for the future. I think even uh, so. I'll just give you one quick example here, uh, not related to this. Suppose we are going somewhere out of a city, and there are some people whom we love are in our home. We always ensure that, suppose we keep our parents in our home and we go outside. So we always ensure there is enough medicines for them, so that they don't get into any problem. Enough funds. We say to few people, okay, if required to come. So we manage that. So when we go away, we always want whoever is there whom we love, they should be okay. I think if we someone goes away from this world also, they also have the same feeling, right? Their intention is we should be okay, but then we feel if we become okay, they may not like it, or it might be betrayal for them. But it's not true. So getting a help sometime also helps to understand this, and how to navigate this through this is also important, because we always keep the memories of a loved one, but then with that, how we can be in peace, that is very important. And if we're not able to do that, then it is very important to get some help. And again, I would say this why me is a very dangerous question. I mean, there is you can we can ask like maybe thousand
Pain है
whys and
ना
we don't
उसमें,
get an answer, right?
पेन है
So
उसमें सुबह, पेन है.
right, the pain is very much real. I mean, as you rightly said, we can't imagine, uh, and it is very different for each one of us to handle that pain. Someone will show that okay, I am okay within next moment and start doing certain things, and someone may not be able to come out, but both may be going through the grief, because the way they're handling might be very different. So that is where it is very important for the friends, families also to identify, notice and identify these things, and to provide that support system and help, because
Exactly.
help लेना कोई weakness नहीं है, right? So it is
नहीं
something
नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं.
we always should take it. Even we take
I,
help when
I want to
something
say
physical.
here something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also want to share something, Suvin, that when I was talking about this pain to you, तो मतलब for our viewers, the better example is that कि पेन तो तब भी होती है ना जब हम गिर जाते हैं.
Right.
बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं गिर जाते हैं, उन्हें चोट लग जाती है, कुछ लोग अपने आप उठ जाते हैं। कुछ
बराबर।
लोगों की चोटें इतनी गहरी होती हैं कि कई बार उनको एक हाथ देके किसी को उठाना पड़ता है, उनको बिठाना
हुँ,
पड़ता है। और चाहे आप खुद उठ के आए हो, चाहे आपको किसी ने उठा के कहीं बिठाया है और आपकी चोट को क्लीन करा है, उसपे यू नो ऑइंटमेंट लगाया है, उसपे मरहम लगाया है, तो कोई गलत बात थोड़ी ना है। तो
राइट, कोई गलत बात
वैसे ही जब
नहीं है।
दिल पे चोट लगती है ना,
हुँ,
दिस इज वेयर माय पॉइंट इज कमिंग।
हाँ,
तो जब दिल पे चोट लगती है तो इट्स ओके, उसमें कोई वीकनेस वाली बात थोड़ी नहीं है कि अगर कोई आपको उसमें हील करने के लिए हेल्प कर रहा है, उस चोट
हुँ,
को थोड़ा क्लीन कर रहा है, क्लैरिटी लेके आ रहा है आपकी आइडेंटिटी को लेके, आपके गोल्स को लेके, है ना, उस पे मरहम लगा रहा है, एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग आपके लिए ही इस्टेब्लिश कर रहा है, जिससे आपको एक अपनी लाइफ में एक पर्पस दिखाई दे, है ना। तो
ट्रू,
दिस इज नॉट समथिंग रॉन्ग ना, तो मतलब यू शुड ऑलवेज सीक सपोर्ट। किससे आते हैं वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, जैसे अभी आपने बोला family members and friends are very important. Just like that,
राइट,
you can always follow your spiritual guides and healers also. They are also very helpful in processing these kind of pains. And there are support groups also, है ना? There would
यस,
be the counselors and therapists like us,
या,
and self-help techniques, right?
right.
Can
No,
you
I think that
elaborate?
ecosystem is very important. That ecosystem is very important. Like friends or families are the first, I think, circle who can help, who normally helps, who can help. I will not say they can help. They normally help us to come out of this situation or to be there with us. It is very important who can listen us without judgment. हम बात कर सकते हैं उनसे, कई बार कुछ पुराने मेमोरीज के बारे में बात करते हैं। एंड जैसे आपने बताया कि लाइक आफ्टर ब्रेकअप्स देयर आर फ्रेंड्स हु नोज कि ब्रेकअप के बाद पूरी पूरी रात किसी ने शायद वेंट आउट किया है, राइट। बट वो किया इसलिए है कि बिकॉज उनको दुख हो रहा है, दे आर इन टू दैट पेन, एंड देर आर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिलीज जो उनको सुने हैं, एंड देर इज अ ग्रेट सपोर्ट। आई रियली थैंक्स ऑल दोज पीपल हु हेल्प अदर्स टू रिलीज themselves. सपोर्ट ग्रुप्स आर वेरी पॉपुलर, आई थिंक इंडिया में भी है, बट मेरे ख्याल से बाहर तो बहुत ज़्यादा पॉपुलर है सपोर्ट ग्रुप्स। इंडिया में it is-
Comparatively थोड़ा सा कम है।
हाँ, इंडिया में धीरे धीरे वो चीज़ें आ रहे हैं, दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज
Yeah, we
व्हेन यू
all
नो,
are working that
राइट।
it
एंड मुझे
starts.
सपोर्ट ग्रुप के मामले में मतलब एक चीज़ व्हाट यू रियलाइज इन सपोर्ट ग्रुप इज वी आर नॉट अलोन, and that might be give us a little bit of comfort. Okay, fine, we are not alone, there are people who are going through this, so let's look
There are
at them,
people
how
like
good they are
us.
doing, learn something from them. And I think this is something I remember the story of this Gautam Buddha. When that one lady's one young son died, and she came to Gautam Buddha that why it happened to me, and Buddha asked that okay, I will give the life back, लेकिन तुम जाओ गांव में ऐसा किसी घर से तेल लेके आओ जहाँ पे किसी कोई डेथ ना हो। And another day when the lady came back, she said, I understood what you're trying to teach me. So support group sometimes helps to with a shared experience to accept it, but also to learn how the way people are navigating through this. So those are very important.
Exactly.
All right. And you also mentioned spiritual. You want to explain a little bit more about how spiritual groups can also help?
Yeah. But Suvin, don't you think that you and me, since we are NLP practitioners also, and we have a knowledge of hypnotherapy as well. So this specific area, when it comes to the particular person who is
Mhm.
not able to move out of this grief, because I have came across couple of clients of mine who were dealing with their earlier clinicians or their therapist through a lot of methods, worksheets, talk therapies,
Right.
etc. But they couldn't get that, satisfaction or that result. So they
Hmm.
came up to me, and as a NLP practitioner and a hypnotherapist, whatever learnings I have to process that grief is something that in this particular session I would like to talk about, because
Sure.
maybe some people who are seeing us, they
Right.
also have this question in their mind, and maybe whatever we are going to you know highlight about our practice right now, that how NLP and hypnotherapy help in processing your grief may
Yeah.
resonates with them, isn't
Sure.
it?
Sure.
So
Right.
let's begin with both of them.
Yeah.
So there are so many techniques. I'll begin with the NLP techniques that are your negative thoughts, your sad thoughts are restructured, reframe, and the unnecessaries one are the one that eliminates that needs a release also. And there are the procedures of calmness, that we anchor through
Yeah.
particular techniques. So hypnotherapy is there where we, you know, uh, put you into a very relaxed state where you get in sync with yourself. You re-stretch your nervous system, your entire system get a reset, and you actually process those things visually, but one by one in a very helpful manner. And the results becomes quite visible, you feel quite lighter, and definitely you understand the whole point of doing and coming to a therapist.
Right. And I think you told very rightly. One of the difference, I would say, from a regular ecosystem versus the way we work is the work is getting done at a subconscious level, connecting with the subconscious mind. So many times, if you the friends and families tell us, "Hey, it's okay, they have gone, everyone," but it is very difficult for us to accept it internally. That is where I think NLP and hypnotherapy, hypnosis helps a lot to release those things from a subconscious level. You spoke about this thought restructuring, and NLP is all about that, right? How we can restructure our mind, how we restructure our thoughts. One of the things I
Rewiring it.
wanted to tell to our viewers is many times you'll be amazed to see how fast things can happen compared to a traditional way of navigating through this journey. It may differ for person to person, but for some people it might be really within few weeks they can see the difference, that how they're able to cope up with these thoughts with this. All right. And I think
Right.
you also mentioned anchoring, right? So I think anchoring is such
Yeah.
a wonderful
Mostly
thing in
all of them they know
NLP.
about anchoring.
Right, Anchor is such a wonderful thing in NLP that is a very much ready to go to tool for anyone. Maybe they want to anchor calmness or any other emotions, and it's very important to have this kind of toolkit, which normally we can I think we can proudly say this, that we can give this kind of toolkits to people so that they can help themselves. They can be self-dependent going ahead.
Yeah. So when I particularly talk about hypnotherapy related to grief, matlab
Hmm.
how I'm going to associate it with grief, there are million of things that I can say, but one thing that I can say, जो एक क्लोजर रह जाता है ना कई बार, वो अनकहे शब्द, वो एक लास्ट गुड बाय जो हम बोल नहीं पाए, या वो एक लास्ट मैसेज अपने खोए हुए ड्रीम्स या अपनी जो भी है जिनको अब हम दोबारा पिक नहीं कर सकते, वो एक ना एक छोटा सा क्लोजर होना is really
Right,
very important. And
very well.
hypnotherapy do wonderful, visualization exercises to become rubaru with that particular thing, that particular person in your visualization so that you can have a closure of it. एंड
Right.
अपनी इससे आइडेंटिटी को स्ट्रेंथ करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज वो एक आपका हिस्सा होता है ना, जब एक जिंदगी का हिस्सा हमसे दूर चला जाता है तो हमें
Hmm.
अपनी आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस हो जाता है.
Yeah.
हिप्नोथेरेपी हेल्प्स यू टू स्ट्रेंथन योर आइडेंटिटी इन अ मेजर वे, बिकॉज यू वी ऑल पेस फॉर द फ्यूचर. दिस इज द बेस्ट पार्ट अबाउट आवर थेरेपी, दैट हम लोग प्रेजेंट के साथ साथ आपकी फ्यूचर पेसिंग भी करते हैं.
Right.
पास तो हमें पता है उसको कितना डिग करेंगे वहां से, मतलब पेन ही निकल के आएगी वहां से, आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा इंसाइट या लेसन ही मिलेगा ना. उस
Easily.
इंसाइट और लेसन को आप प्रेजेंट में एक्नॉलेज करने के बाद उसको फ्यूचर में कितना इफेक्टिवली यूज करो, दिस इज समथिंग दैट अ एनएलपी एंड अ hypnotherapy sessions do wonderful. So if somebody who is looking forward for
Hmm.
these sort of therapeutic measures that works for your future, that solve your future mysteries, that how your जिनको वो डर है अपने future से, the clients come to me and they have a fear of future, that कैसे होगा, मतलब present yes past ऐसा है, present में I'm confused, जब मैं present में ही इतनी confused हूँ और इतनी problem है, तो मेरा future कैसा होगा, कैसे बना पाऊंगी मैं वो future? So yes,
Right.
if you are that person, then believe me, NLP and hypnotherapy is a key. It would be
Yes.
very, very helpful and very scientific in nature, very logical. And of course, you will have that shift in your mind and you will witness it.
Very true. And I'll really encourage people that support each other. And if you find anyone need help, please, talk with them, help them to find the resources. We are there to help all of you if anyone needs any help. And regarding grief, one more point I want to say before we close, Sakshi, is that if you have not said sorry to someone, you want to say, do that today. If you want to say someone I love you and express your love, do that today. If you want to say someone thank you for something you want to say, do that today. Don't put your ego to connect with people who are there in this world till now, but due to some misunderstanding you have lost touch. Do that connection, because many times what happens that if people goes away, we always have these things. काश मैं ये बता दिया होता,
Gosh, wo
काश मैं ये
gosh.
बता होता।
I
तो
can understand wo gosh.
तो ऐसा मत कीजिए। अगर किसी को कुछ आपको बोलना है मन में, तो बोल दीजिए उसको। It can be to our parents, it can be to our friends, it can be to our any loved ones, right? Do that. और अगर आप सफ़र कर रहे हैं, अगर आप it is you are not alone. Remember always this. There is help available, and there is no harm, no weakness, no shame in taking help for your emotional state, because that will help you
And
to
we are not
become
going to
more
charge
strong.
for your queries.
Yeah, right. And
So you
most of
can
our
always come to us. It's okay. We are not going to
right,
charge for your queries. Sometimes people they are always scared, Suvin, because that कहीं पीछे ना पड़ जाए. So
right,
honestly, I am not that kind of therapist. मैं पीछे नहीं पड़ूंगी. It's completely your wish you want to continue or not. But if you think that you need a help and it suits you, you can always come. We are very transparent people, and we keep our therapeutic interventions and the plans also quite transparent to you. And if it suits you, if it resonates with you, you can always continue with us. And if it
right.
doesn't, then it's okay. I am not going to follow you back.
Right,
So
and
don't be scared about
what
it.
it is that most of our first sessions, and which is not like a 15-minute, 20-minute session, it also goes like half an hour to 1 hour, where you get a quite good insights, and that is absolutely free of cost. So you can always come have a discussion, try to understand how things work, and will that help you, and then take an informed decision. So that is all for today. Thank you, Sakshi, very much for your time. Thanks you, viewers, for your time. If you are seeing this today, or maybe later when it is posted in our YouTube channels and Insta channels. So if you have any questions, comment your questions. We'll definitely answer those questions. And wish you all the best. Festive season is coming up. Will you wish you very very good festive seasons upcoming in upcoming months and days. Have a great day, great evening, great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Suvin, for this invitation of session. This is a very important beat that I wanted to put my thoughts into and my insight so that it could be helpful for people who are facing the signs of grief. So thank you again. Thank you, viewers,
Yeah, thank you.
and
Thank you.
have a
Bye bye.
good
I'm in your live now.
goodbye.